The White House Correspondents' Dinner was this weekend, and there was a massive security breach. The internet is abuzz with conspiracy theories, false flag allegations. But I'm here to let you know from an intelligence perspective what really happened that night. The White If this is your first time on this channel, just know I bring a 20 plus year perspective from the intelligence community, breaking down geopolitical events. It's a rather small account right now. We're looking to build it up. So if you would please consider subscribing to the channel, you can just click that bell notification there so that you never miss one of these videos. And I have tons of shorts talking about the conflict in Iran. I'm also an NTD News correspondent where I talk about tons of other geopolitical events that are happening. And I very rarely get into U.S. domestic events and especially political events, much like this. But I thought after going on Twitter/X for about 20 minutes on a Sunday, it was very clear to me that everyone had the wrong perspective on this. There's so many conspiracy theories out there, and I made a post that when everything is a conspiracy, nothing is a conspiracy. And so what we really need to be looking for is not these great grand conspiracies, Bush mastermind 9/11, Obama faked the bin Laden raid. Every single geopolitical event is seen through these lenses of conspiracies, one on top of the other. Russia didn't invade Ukraine. That then turned into, Ukraine has these biolabs. Then that Ukraine, it was warranted because Ukraine attacked Russia first. So that's these sort of Eastern Europe false flag events that happen. And I'm hearing false flag a lot with the correspondents' dinner here, that in some way the President Trump and his administration, or the Republican Party, seeing that they are about to fail miserably in the midterms, would somehow create a false flag event. Now, what I want to say here is, and I'm going to make this video very brief, and you can get through it very quickly in just about 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to bring up some different perspectives. The first thing I'm going to talk about here is Occam's razor. And I think Occam's razor fits here. And that is the theory that the most logical answer is the simplest answer. And the simplest answer is that because of the rhetoric that is happening in the United States, and listen, we are on the verge of a civil war if we do not, in the United States, move the pendulum back to the median and center ourselves and get off of social media and interact with people face to face on an individual level. We are on the brink of a civil war. And so the rhetoric has become so harsh. And there are so many people who have been asking, someone do something to the president, take the president out of power. It is likely that someone who is known as a more liberal individual, who is watching the news, who goes and perpetually is online, that they would feel the need to go from California to Washington, D.C. to attempt to do something. Now, we don't know the whole background of this person, and there's a lot of social media accounts that are talking about it, and they're bringing up how intelligent he is, and how he worked for NASA and all of these government agencies. And I'm here to tell you, and I know a ton of highly intelligent people who have gone, for lack of a better term, crazy. They don't know how to control their emotions. And at some point, it boils up and it boils over, and they go to take action. They feel as if individually they are the only one who can solve this. And I believe Occam's razor should be used in this. And I believe that's how we solve for any conspiracy that talks about how there's just some sort of grand plan to do this. Then we talk about an administration who, for the most part, I would say 50-50, might even get me above the 50% mark, people consider as unintelligent. People will call them, um, people will say that those running the administration don't know what they're doing. They lack experience, they lack intellect. And yet, those same people believe that they schemed up some grand plan to fake another assassination attempt in order to do what? To keep power. Hanlon's razor says that you should not attribute to malice, which you can attribute basically to stupidity. And I think that's what we have here. Look, we have tons of people that were invited, or most people not really invited, paid for this, the ability to attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and a lot of them said that they were very surprised at the lack of security. So incompetence, right? Stupidity. Did that happen? It's likely. From an intelligence perspective, we try not to speak in absolutes, as I just said, never, but we try not to speak in absolutes. And we will make assessments based off of probability. So in this case, I'm going to offer up my probabilities. And then if you want to, go right into the comment section here and you tell me where I'm wrong. I don't get into debates because I think we have gone away from what debates should be, which is having conversations with people in order to speak and tell other people what our perspective is. And debates are now just a way that we can say that we won some game that we're playing. But I will have conversations. So please put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's start a conversation about this. And if you have some verifiable logical evidence that tells you there's some deep state play in the mix, I'd love to see it. I'd love you to put it in there and have that conversation. So let's do that. But here is my assessment. I believe that it is unlikely that this was a false flag event in order to get either Donald Trump in office another term, or help Republicans win the midterm. And the reason for that is the risk reward is not there, right? It's a high risk, no reward situation here, because at some point it is going to be investigated. And there is, unlike in a country like Russia, the United States has a free press, a press that is openly opposed to the current president, who would love to investigate this and identify a false flag. And if that were the case and that comes to light, Republicans will never win another election. So high risk, no reward in this situation. That tells me it is unlikely. It is a false flag. Whether it is a CIA conspiracy, I have that also as highly unlikely, just because of the same reason. There's no reward in this. And I don't see the CIA as an organization, as an agency, wanting to continue the chaotic approach that the current administration has. If they wanted to do something, they would have done something uh, similar to what people believe happened with JFK, right? Just do it and take him out, and that would be the end of it. And that didn't happen in this case. And also, he wasn't apprehended in the actual White House dinner area. He was He was in another area that was less secure. And the hotel is a hotel. It's Hilton Hotel in D.C. And they did not have proper security outside of that hotel. But that's because, you know, people are staying there. It was one room that was holding this correspondence dinner for the entire hotel, right? And so you're not going to close the entire hotel down. So people were allowed to come in and out freely in most spaces, especially if they had a room there. So that is, these are my assessments, right? So you see them as opinions. I see them as educated scientific guesses. but those are my assessment. It's unlikely that happened. And so let me know what you think. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching this video, hearing my perspective on things. And I'd love to get into more of a conversation about, what you think happened. But I think the better conversation we should be having is, how do we change? We are on the precipice of a dangerous time in the United States. And I think if we don't change now, then we run the risk of losing what our founders had hoped we could be: a free nation, a free press, the ability to live your life the way you want to live it, and to not have this mass animosity towards one another. So, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, stay safe out there.